Hey everybody, it's John with Seattle Coffee Gear. We're in the commercial kitchen today. We're going to be doing a follow-up video on a recent one we did about how to dial in a grinder. That was a kind of a higher level video, not really talking about the nitty-gritty or kind of more practical things for different coffees. So today we're going to talk about a wide variety of things, but mainly we're going to focus on brew ratios and what brew ratios mean for different coffees. So brew ratios basically means it's the ratio of coffee that you put in to the ratio of coffee you get out. Now, a brew ratio can be with drip coffee, it can be with cold brew. We're going to talk about espresso today and how it relates to espresso. Before we get in, I do want to preface this video by saying that this is what I like. This is what I think works well. This is applicable for commercial and for home. Probably in your home environment, you're switching up coffees more than you would be in a commercial environment. But everybody's taste buds are different. Everybody prefers something different. And so what I'm going to do here might be completely different than what you like. And that's totally fine. If you do like something different, feel free to share that in the comments on this video. Let us know what's working for you, what you're enjoying at home. But this is going to be kind of a starter guide as you're changing up coffees to get better results, to make coffee you love, which happens to be our motto. So why don't we jump in? The main coffee that we're using today is the Tony's Ganesha Espresso. This is a medium to medium dark. Leans a little bit darker, works great with milk. Definitely more of a traditional espresso style, but pretty tasty. This bag actually gives you a real convenient little recipe on the side of it for what they recommend. And I actually really like what they recommend here because they leave it vague. They don't tell you exactly what you should do, just because coffee is so subjective and everybody has something else that they like. What I consider to be something that's really good and really delicious might be somebody else's worst shot they've ever had. So typically, when you're starting out with a medium or a medium dark roast, a good starting point is 1 to 2 ratio. And that means that I have 18 grams of coffee here and I get 36 grams of espresso out. And I'm just kind of modulating my time there. We talked earlier in the first video, kind of in the same vein, about how to dial in a grinder to get it into that 25 to 30 second range at about 1.5 ounces. And 36 grams, 30 to 36 grams of espresso with crema on it usually lands at right about that 1.5 ounce marker. So this is not contradicting anything in that previous video. Now, as a general rule of thumb, when you're thinking about coffee, generally as roasts get darker or more developed, coffee just has less to give up. And that just means that you can extract less from it. So your brew ratios are going to be lower. Your brew times are going to be a little bit shorter. Now this brew that we're going to do here is going to be a very traditional one. When I'm talking about shorter brew times and lower volume shots, that's probably what you're used to. If you're doing higher volume and longer brew times, you're probably doing something that's a lighter roast, like a single origin espresso, or you're doing like a Italian style lungo shot or something like that. That's not my speed, but if you like that, brew it. If you like a super long light roast espresso shot that's crazy complicated and has all the nuances and fruit flavors in it, brew that. It is up to you. This is just going to be a guide to get you to what you like. So I'm actually following the brew recipe on this bag pretty closely. I have my scale and I have this grinder dialed in to give me right about 18 grams of coffee. So I'm just right there. Awesome. And I'm going to redistribute this. Give it a tamp. We are set there. And somebody else is borrowing my good scale today, so we are just going to do this. And I have this double shot button programmed for just about what I want it to be. Now with this coffee, I found out that I liked it a little bit shy of an exact 1 to 2. So I was trying to get somewhere between 32 to 33 grams out, and it was tasting good for me there. Now, if you're getting 32 or 33 grams out, and then you decide that that's tasting a little bit thin for you, kind of a hack for that is to fine up your grind setting, and that's going to bring up more of those syrupy flavors because that's going to lengthen your time. So you're lengthening your extraction, you're taking more out of the coffee. If your coffee is to the point where it's tasting syrupy and then it's starting to get like a ashy or dry flavor to it, you're probably over extracting the coffee. You might like that. That might be what you're used to. If you're getting that flavor and you don't like it, you just need to extract a little bit less and you'll probably be in that sweet spot to getting really tasty espresso. So extracting a little bit less would look like coarsening up your grind. So then you would have a shorter brew time, so less time brewing. You're still aiming for that same weight. I try not to adjust 2 of my variables at once. I try to only adjust 1 variable at a time. So I'm going to taste this and see what I think about it. And that brew time was right about 27 seconds. Now I find the sweet spot for most coffees that are a medium roast to a darker roast, they're happiest in that 25 to 30 second range. As you get to a lighter roasted coffee, at home I'm brewing single origin espresso, and so I have a brew time of around 40 seconds, and I'm dosing about 20 grams, and I'm getting 45 to 50 grams out. So I am way past that 1 to 2. I'm into the 1 to 2.5 at times, just because that coffee is less roasted, it's less developed, so I can extract more from it before I get into those bitter or ashy flavors. So I'm going to taste this, see where we're at here. So that tastes pretty good to me. I was saying a second ago that if your coffee doesn't, or if your coffee tastes ashy or burnt or something like that, you're probably over extracting, so you need to pull back a little bit. You need to coarsen your grind setting a little bit. This actually tastes a tiny bit sour. So if it's sour, that means I'm under extracting, and so I need to fine up my grind setting just a little bit, and that means that I need to brew this shot for longer, which is what fining that up will do. This machine does have my temperature readouts right here, which are pretty accurate. And so I can play with temperature as well if I wanted to, but we're not going to talk about that today. Forgot to adjust that. All right, I am right at 18 grams. So we're gonna see where this lands us at. If you are tasting a coffee that tastes bitter and sour, or ashy and sour at the same time, that means you're probably getting uneven extraction, and that can be caused by channeling or a crack in the puck or uneven distribution, which we covered in another video. So I'm going to use that same double shot button that I used prior, because I programmed that for right about the same volume. and we'll see what we get out of this here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my ratio about the same as it was. Once you get below 2, the ratios start to get decimals and stuff like that. So I'm not going to have an exact brew ratio on this here, but I am on track to pull something in about the 30-second range. And as expected, I went just a little bit longer there. So let's see what I get out of this. So this one was a little bit sour. I wanted to extract just a little bit more. Get a little bit more of the sweetness out of that coffee. Yeah, that tasted, that definitely is a little bit better than that first one. Some of the tart or sour notes that were kind of like a sour fruit or an unripe fruit in that first shot have ripened a little bit, have gotten a little bit sweeter. The chocolate's more pronounced in this one, so I just like this one a little bit better. And I achieved that by just finding up my grind a little bit and brewing that a little bit longer while still keeping about the same ratio from coffee in to coffee out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to tell us about your favorite brew ratio or brew recipe, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you've ever had questions about commercial equipment, if you want to upgrade your cafe or restaurant or open your own cafe, give us a call. We'd love to talk through that with you. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Have a great day, guys.